morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Before the break, we were chatting about the increase in the murder toll in Tobago, with 3 additional murders being recorded overnight. Another unfortunate situation for the crime situation here on the island of Tobago. Now, we've heard in the budget presentation by the Chief Secretary very recently that there is a proposal in the upcoming fiscal for the T.H.A Department of Public Safety and Security. This morning, we're chatting briefly with the Chief Technical Advisor for the Division of Finance, Mr. Anslem Richards. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being with us on your busy schedule. We know that you are out and about, and even at the last minute, you decided to jump on to chat with us about this escalating crime situation on the island and why it's important for this particular proposal to be integrated as soon as possible and for the adequate finances to be provided for this project in order to get it off the ground. Good morning again.
Good morning. Well, as you said, 3 murders overnight. This has to be a very discomforting development for all Tobagonians, wherever in the world you may find yourself at this particular point in time. One of the things that we have to come to terms with as Tobagonians living in a small knitted island of communities, of tightly knitted communities, we have a very intimate space that is Tobago. And one of the things I've been saying over the years when I've been monitoring the evolution of this unwanted trend in gun violence and the associated murder that come with that is that the Tobago society is too small to withstand gun violence of this nature, and we are seeing it today. One of the things we have to do, we have to recognize and come to the understanding, all of us as Tobagonians, that an illegal firearm anywhere in Tobago is a threat to the life and livelihood of every Tobagonian everywhere on the island. And that means that we have to collectively come together and respond to this evil threat that is now consuming our island. That being said, there are some things some fixes that the law enforcement community has to engage with almost immediately. There has to be a higher level of deployment of intelligence-driven targeted operations to get these firearms off the streets of Tobago. That has to be a priority item for the police service and the other law enforcement agency on the island. The Ministry of National Security needs to deploy the necessary national security assets and infrastructure to ensure that happens in the most efficient and effective way in the shortest possible time. We also have to look at the issue of border security for Tobago and probably the wider Trinidad and Tobago coastline, and that means that we have to mitigate against illegal firearms and ammunition getting into the Tobago space and into the Trinidad and Tobago space, and that requires a very high and elevated level of border security, where we extend our borders outwards into beyond our territorial sea. So the Coast Guard has a significant role and responsibility in this nature of operation. We also have to look at the operation of the internal security apparatus of the country, and more so in Tobago. And here we speak to the whole issue of how do we complement and support what is happening with the national law enforcement agencies operating in the Tobago space. We are seeing from what is happening on the ground in Tobago that there is some deficiency or there is some gap in the security arrangement. And therefore, over the years, this issue of the Department of Public Safety and Security in the Tobago Assembly is not really a new fix, but it is something that has been pursued before by previous administration. But I think that the Farley administration is at a point where this is about to be implemented. We have done the research, we have done the legal reviews, and there is no legal impediment to the establishment of this unit. This unit is intended to, one, establish in it the T.H.A police operation, or the T.H.A police. 2, we are going to have the litter wardens and the traffic warden operating in this department. We are going to integrate in the operation of this department all the other agencies and units of the T.H.A that has a core public safety and public security function. So T.H.A will be under this department, our forest rangers, our game wardens, our reef patrol officers, our lifeguards, and our environmental police. These are some of the core agencies that will comprise this Department of Public Safety and Security. Also, there's a significant role in this, a functional role for public health. I think sometimes we overlook that aspect of public safety, where public health is concerned in terms of food safety and all of that, and the operation of businesses in the space. So that is the kind of ambit that we have described and engineered for this department. I think it is timely. It is not intended to replace the national police, but more to be supportive and complementary to the existing police operation to close some of the gaps that we are observing in the security arrangement for the island. What this will allow the T.H.A to do is to deploy some of its police officers and security agents across the island in key areas to really provide the presence of guardians that will, be a deterrent to some of the want-to-be criminals that we have among us on the island. So that will elevate the level of safety and security at the public level on the island.
What does the structure of this T.H.A police look like? Is it that you would be outsourcing officers from existing security companies, or would individuals be contracted by the T.H.A to work under this department?
Yeah, there will be a recruitment program and a training program. Yes, we will be contracting officers to work. There are also some existing officers under the public service police, security unit. The intention is to have them uptake into this unit, but we are going to be recruiting persons on a recruitment policy. We are also developing a training policy. I think the intention here, as approved by the Chief Secretary at this particular point in time, is to have these officers trained at a minimum level in the first instance of those of the Special Reserve Police officers. So that is the level at which we are going to establish the T.H.A police. They are going to be trained at the minimum level of the Special Reserve Police officers who are now operating alongside the police officers. So that makes the synergy very seamless and efficient. We are hoping to engage the Police Training Academy as the agency to initiate and to effect this training on behalf of the T.H.A. So there will be.
I think we lost Mr. Richards there. That's quite unfortunate, or maybe we had a bit of a technical difficulty. My production team
Hello?
will let me know. All right,
Hello?
well, we have you back there. Sorry, you went out there for a bit. So we were talking
Well,
about the training by the police academy to have them trained.
at the level of the Special Reserve Police officers.
Correct.
So that will make the functional relationship with the police service very seamless and efficient.
All
Right?
right,
So that
well,
will be a.
let's be practical and honest. This administration only has a few months left in office, and I'm guessing that a project like this on this magnitude would be operated in a phase-by-phase basis. How is this going to be structured in a way that creates sustainability regardless of what administration comes or goes?
Well, the current environment with what we are seeing, you just have mentioned 3 murders overnight. That in itself, the reality on the ground speaks to the need and the sustainability for a unit like this. The challenge here is that when you set up a security agency like this is not a political agency, and they should transcend political administration. And I don't know if a year alone speaks to the end of this administration, because there's an election at the end of this year, and it is likely that this administration will return to office. So the continuity of this program for me is not really the issue, because any administration that comes in will certainly embrace this program and this project, because as I said before, this is not a new project. It's something that was being pursued by the Over London administration, but they never came across to do the kind of implementation and to do the kind of work that this administration have done in 3 years. Just imagine that this is something that has been in the book for over 20 years, and this administration is at the point now for its implementation within a period of 3 years, building on some of the historical work that was done by the previous administration. But significant gains were made, and I think the sustainability of this unit is relevant and important to the Tobago society to see where we want to go with this island, and the importance of citizen security in the kind of economy that Tobago is. If you have an economy that is tourism based, you have to have a very secure and safe environment for your visitors. And therefore, one murder in Tobago is a deterrent for visitors to come to the island. And therefore, we have to treat with this beyond the politics. This has to be a political, and you know the term, a political entity, or a political program that will transcend political administration.
Right. And with the time that you have left, what phases of this project do you think is possible to be completed? Because I mean, I think it's an extensive department to set up. Is it that you are planning to go in a phase by phase basis? What would the first phase of that be,
Right.
based on
So
the
definitely.
amount of time that is left?
So definitely, the first phase will be to bring TEMA, because TEMA, the established units we have, TEMA, the game warden, the game warden, the environmental police, our reef patrol unit, and our lifeguards. They are already in existence. Is to just reconfigure them under this department, set up new operational protocol, new infrastructure, new safety protocols for the operation with clear goals and objectives. So that will be the starting point. So it's not something. It's really not something totally new that we are creating, but we are reorganizing the institutional structure of the T.H.A for efficiency and effectiveness. So that will be the first phase. So that is just to reconfigure the operational dynamics of TEMA, the game warden, the forest rangers, the reef patrol unit, the lifeguards, and have those things functional. While we build out the T.H.A police, that will require a legislative work in terms of establishing issuing the warrant to set up the T.H.A police under the supplemental police bill, and then the whole issue of training the police officer, as you said, will take a little time, working out the logistics for the training with the police academy and so forth, and establishing the operational protocol. That will
Or
be the final phase of the program.
let's talk about legal consultants. One of the persons whose name continues to come up when we talk about policing is former police commissioner Gary Griffith. Is he someone whose name is on the list when it comes to individuals to consult in regards to establishing this service and maybe even assisting in leading this Tobago police?
No, we have not given any consideration to Mr. Griffith being part of this exercise at this particular point in time. We will not rule out the opportunity or the option, but at this particular point in time, this administration have not placed any emphasis on Mr. Gary being part of this equation at this particular point in time. We have in our own space, we have retired assistant commissioner of police who are amply qualified, who are attorneys who have been working with us. And I could say that Mr. Nurse, William Nurse have worked with us on this exercise. You know, there are other police officers in this space who have been consulted on matters, and they will be engaged going forward. But definitely, Mr. Griffith has not been placed as a variable in this equation at this particular point in time.
All right, let's take a quick break and let's come back as we continue our conversation this morning. Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. This morning we are wrapping up our conversation and I am still chatting with technical advisor Anslem Richard. Good morning and welcome back, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, as we wrap up our discussion this morning in regards to that T.H.A Safety and Security Department, we are talking a bit more in regards to that T.H.A police. And this presents an opportunity for employment on the island. And one of the questions that continue to come up is what type of compensation can persons be looking forward to? Would it be more lucrative than even joining the police force, something that would encourage people to want to come to Tobago and be a part of the Tobago police service? And does it provide any level of job security, or are we going to see individuals working on contract?
Well, contract is job security. It's performance-based job security. So if you are on a contract and you want to keep your job, you got to function. We cannot deploy the public service culture, and I know my public service colleague may have an issue with me. We cannot deploy or seek to deploy the public service culture into an important entity like this, where people feel that they have an entitlement to be employed regardless of their performance or lack thereof. And therefore, I think the contract employment provides an opportunity for the administration to ensure that the quality service that this unit is intended to deliver is had by Tobagonians at all levels of the society. And therefore, it will be incumbent upon the employee to ensure that his or her performance as part of the T.H.A police is up to par to ensure his retention as an officer in this unit. So that's one, and it's going to be contract employment. Two, that provides job security based on performance. Three, the compensation will be at the market rate. You know, we are not in a position to outbid the police service that is being funded by national security and the central government. Remember, the T.H.A depends for its allocation from the central government. So, and we don't want to declare a wage war or a salary war against the police service. That is not the intention of this unit at all. But what I can guarantee is that the compensation will be at par with market rates that are happening in this space, and it will be lucrative. And I think what it does for Tobago is that we expend hundreds of millions of dollars in security services that are contracted by the T.H.A over the years, and continue to be so engaged. So that will provide for the T.H.A and for the persons and for individuals to have an opportunity to be engaged at the level of the T.H.A. We are not intended to displace the private security firms operating in the space, but there will be a market share that the T.H.A is going to say we are going to be in charge of providing 60% or 70% of the security needs of the T.H.A, and we contract out the next 30, or we 60% and we contract out the next 40, because we recognize that private sector has a role to play in this, and the intention is not really to block out, or as the young people say, to ghost out the private security sector in Tobago. But where we are, Tobago need an elevated intervention, and the T.H.A is the entity that is poised to provide that in terms of our security construct. And we must remember that the core responsibility and duty of any administration, any government, the first primary responsibility is the safety and security of the citizenry of the island.
Right, and as we wrap up, what comments do you have in regards to the allocation for safety and security in the upcoming budget from the central government?
Well, we are requesting, and we are in conversation. The Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister is in conversation on this unit. You heard the Prime Minister mention it recently. The Prime Minister is now awakening to the importance of this unit. May I say that? And there are serious conversations taking place. That is all I could say at this particular point in time. But definitely, we are going to put the operational costs for this unit before the central government and demand the appropriate allocation to ensure its functionality and its efficiency where the resources and other financial requirements are concerned.
All right. Well, we can only hope that what one requests is what one gets. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Richards, for coming on at such a short notice. I thank you so much for making your comments and letting Tobago know about that new Department of Safety and Security that they can see coming out of the T.H.A and possible employment opportunities and hopefully an effective means of fighting crime on the island of Tobago. Again, thank you, guys. This is where we end off the show this morning. We want to thank you for joining us. We want to thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting and doing all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster on the island of Tobago. Again, thank you and have a great day. Stay safe.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starter.